Hi, I'm Mark at Brake Crafters, and I'm just here to do a simple task. What we can do is just change brake pads. But as my poor father used to say, it would drive me insane. He said if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. So there's just bits and pieces you can do when you're changing your brake pads, which is actually going to make your brakes perform a lot better and also take great care of them. It'll save you from stuff like caliper rebuilds and stuff like that. Also, you'll find that the bedding in process for your brake pads will actually work a lot better, and hopefully you'll notice the performance a lot quicker than normal. So we're going to use a couple of things, because what we want to do is take the calipers off, but what we're going to do before we change the pads is we're going to clean them. Now if you think about it, where the pistons have pushed your pads out because your pads have become quite low, what you're going to need to do is push the pistons back in. The last thing that you want to do is push the pistons in with their dirty and stuff like that, so that the dirt then gets trapped into the dust seals and it will cause your pistons to drag. So we're going to go through that. So what we're going to do is the things you'll need: just obviously a socket to take the calipers off, Allen screws to take the little plates off. You want some brushes, you want a bucket of clean water, good detergent. Now it is worth having a check on your detergents and make sure that they're not corrosive towards Ali. You'll find an awful lot of them actually are not suitable for aluminum composites such as calipers. So do check that. Simple green's fine, works great. A couple other things, we've got a couple of pins to pull out. We want some anti-seize grease for when we put it back together. Also some 160 glass paper. This is for cleaning the rotors. A little bit wet and dry, just to check on the brake pad pins. So some brushes. Now you don't want to use any steel brushes. The most aggressive you want to use is a brass brush, or preferably stiff nylon, but even a toothbrush is fine. And a couple of rags, or it never hurt to have a couple of rags kicking around. So let's get started. Okay, now you really don't need much of this. Just put a bit in here. Okay. And then what we try to do is raise the bucket up so we can get the caliper fully immersed in there. So you might just want to find something that we can raise it up. Bucket in there. And we're going to get this caliper off. Now, we'll give it a little bit of a twist. What that'll do is push the pistons back in, make it easier to come off. And then we get the caliper in, you can get it nicely immersed. Now I want to find a brush. Go through it. Get it all cleaned up. Now this is going to be a boring bit, so take about 10 minutes, and I'm sure you don't want to see me cleaning for 10 minutes, so we'll do a nice before and after for you. Cleaned up, it's looking better. Now what we're going to do is we're now going to remove the pads. Okay. Okay, so now I've got the pads removed. I'll just put those aside for a moment. Now what I'm looking at here, if we can see, is all the edges of the pistons. So before we push these back in, just want to make sure that they're all nice and clean. So it's again, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just focusing on these outer piston edges, and this is what we want to get nice and clean. And what's also recommended is just using a little bit of washing and soap on the caliper. There it is. There we go. Submerged. Now we get in there. Just all those edges. Again, same process again. Give it about another 5-10 minutes. With a bit of a good scrub down. Clean. It's actually looking a lot better. You see? So we've got both sides with all of the dirt removed. Good? Okay. So then, pretty much stage 2 is just putting the pads in. But before you take them out of the packet, and this is really important because once you've actually bought the pads, you take them out of the packet, you're yours. So what you need to do is, before you take them out of the plastic, is just check that, make sure that they're the right ones. You go, yeah. There, fellas, you see, and you see, you just lay it over, and you know, yep, they're the right ones. What I also like to do is, if you sort of see here, how all of this pin has got really sort of ganked up. I want to get this cleaned up as well, and this is what I pretty much have the wet and dry for. This gets into a bit of a state, and give it a good clean. Just put it on a nice flat surface, give it a rub, and get most of the crap off of these. If you're really keen, what you can do is also just spin them in a drill. Okay, yeah, you can just actually just pop them into a drill. Yeah, it's just come out nice. There we go. See, come up pretty much like brand new. So. Our clip. Okay. Now what you'll also find now is that you have, because you have the new pads in, you won't actually have the space to put them on the rotor. So what you're going to need to do, say, is just expand it a fraction. Okay, this is what we do is you use a screwdriver. You're not using any major leverage, but you get the screwdriver and you put a slight twist on that, and just be patient. So it's not a question of force, just putting that slight pressure, just pushing the pistons back in. And you just, like I say, give it a little bit of time. Might have to go backwards and forwards a couple of times. Nice and even. Okay, and on. Now I like to use a medium thread lock on the bolts on these. It's just, you know, these are brakes, you want to make sure that they're always there, so I would recommend a medium thread lock, and then just torque them to the manufacturer's specifications. Okay, these torqued up. Now, the other things we do, as I was saying earlier, we've got the 160 glass paper. And what you want to do is then spin the rotor. So you just put a bit of pressure on here. And what you're doing is you're getting all of the old media that's stuck in the rotors. Because most rotors are now like old vinyl discs. And what you'll find is that the brake pad material made up of like sintered metals, silicates and binding agents are now stuck in all these rotors. So you just go round, you don't need to do much, it's like just hit about 5 or 6 times, spin it round and help clear all of the old material off. I mean, where you can see it actually makes a little pile, yeah, of the dirt, and that's actually come off of the rotors, so it'll help them bind in a lot better, and you say the performance throughout their life will actually work a lot better. And that's pretty much it. Obviously you're just going to repeat this on the other side and do exactly the same, but what you've done is you've cleaned your caliper. So many people go and power wash them, and the problem is if you power wash the calipers, the water will get past the dust seal, and the water sits between the dust seal and the pressure seal, and it'll then just rot your pistons from the inside out. So it's something you want to avoid. You've got it all cleaned, rotors all prepped, new pads in. Now obviously with new pads you want to allow 30 to 40 miles as they settle in, because those, as I was saying about the grooves that are on your rotor, it'll take time for your pads to just harmonise with the with the rotor and come in to get your maximum grip. So they're not going to be running at 100%, so you have to bear that in mind, just going in progressively over about 30 to 40 miles and let them settle in. Okay, if you get any questions, feel free to give us a call. Thank you very much.